Hi everybody, my name is Professor Rad, and today we're going to use a few calculators to convert between fractions and mixed numbers and decimals, kind of converting between all the different formats. The calculators that I'm going to use in this video are the TI-36X Pro, the Casio FX300ES, the TI-30X2S, and a TI-84. Even if you don't have one of your calculators, your calculator may be similar to these. So you do want to make sure that you know your calculator the best as possible. So let's work through part A on each. Actually, we're going to work through all of these on the TI-36X Pro first, and then we'll do the Casio, the TI-30X2S, and the TI-84. So for part A, it says use your calculator to find the following sum, and then perform the conversions to write your answer in fraction, decimal, and mixed number format. So I'm going to take out my calculator here to begin with, and let's go ahead and find the sum. So I'm going to do 5.4 plus, use my fraction button to enter in 3/8, and hit enter. Now this calculator's preferred method of giving an answer when I mix decimals with fractions is to give me a decimal answer. So I'm going to write that out first, 5.775. Now sometimes you may want to have a fraction answer instead of a decimal. So to convert between fractions and decimals on this calculator, we can use this little squiggly button here. So I'm going to press that, and it makes it an improper fraction. So in improper fraction form, this is 231/40. And lastly, we want to change this into a mixed number format. So here's how we convert from this fraction format into a mixed number. On this calculator, I'm going to go to the Math menu, and then I'm going to choose this first option, number 1, to convert between fraction and mixed number. So that's going to give me 5 31/40. Okay, let's go ahead and work through a couple more problems using this calculator. So for part B, we want to convert from this improper fraction into mixed number format. So we're going to have 53/12. So I'm going to use my fraction button, 53/12. And to make this into a mixed number, I'm going to go to Math, select option 1, and then hit enter. There we go. We've got 4 5/12. Lastly, we have a problem with a mixed number, and we want to convert it to decimal form. I apologize if you hear some noises in the background. Our cat is, he has the zoomies at the moment. We'll put it that way. All right, so we're going to take the 7 5/11. So I'm going to press second to 7 to get the mixed number kind of format on this calculator. Then I'll enter 7 for the big number, 5 for the numerator, and 11 for the denominator. And then I'm going to press this back forth squiggly key, and we'll hit enter. And there you go. There we have our decimal format. So this is 7.45, and it looks like the 45 is just repeating. This 5 at the end is not really there. It's rounding the next 4 up because the next digit is a 5. And we've hit the end of the calculator screen. So you can write this as 7.454545 ... Or you can write that as 7.45 with a line over both the 4 and the 5, since those are the repeating digits. Okay, so if you have the TI 36x Pro and you want to practice, you can go ahead and find 5.7 minus 16 over 99, and then practice changing into each of the 3 different formats. Now let's go over using the Casio calculator. So we'll bring that on board here. And we'll use the Casio, so let's turn it on. All right, so I'm going to enter in 5.4 plus 3/8 on my Casio FX 300 ES Plus. So 5.4, easy enough. And then plus, my fraction button is up here, so we'll press that and get 3/8. Then I'll press equals, and this calculator seems to prefer improper fraction format. So it's going to give me 231 over 40 as the answer. Now, let's say I wanted to change that into either a mixed number or a decimal. So then I'm going to press this SD button, and it gives me the decimal format, 5.775. I'm going to press that SD button again, and it puts it back into fraction mode for me. I want to do that because up above here in some gold text, it looks like, I have ABC, left, right arrow, DC. So if I want to convert between fraction and mixed number, I'm going to press the Shift key and then the SD button. So I want to be in fraction format, and now I'll hit Shift, SD, and it turns it into the mixed number for me. So we get 5 and 31 over 40. Okay, let's go ahead and convert 53 over 12 into mixed number form on the calculator. So we're going to start out by entering the fraction. So we have 53 in the numerator and 12 in the denominator. And then if I want to convert this into mixed number format, we're going to do what we just did. So I need to use this ABC-DC operation. So I'm going to press Shift, SD, and nothing happened. Okay, so sometimes on calculators, you have to hit Enter first. So I'm going to hit equals. And now let's try that Shift, SD. So Shift, SD, and there you go. So if you press the Shift, SD, and it doesn't work, you might have to hit equals first. So this gives us 4 and 5/12. Okay, and then let's try this last one. So they want us to use our calculator to convert from 7 and 5/11 into decimal format. So let's start out. We've got our 7. Oops, I need to get into my mixed number mode. So to get into my mixed number mode, I'm going to hit Shift Fraction, and that will set up the boxes for me. So I've got 7 and 5/11. There we go. Then I'm going to hit equals. And when you press equals, it's going to convert it into improper fraction format automatically. We want it in decimal format though, so you can change from fraction into decimal format by pressing the SD. Apologize if you hear the train going by. I did not plan that. So we'll press the SD button. And here we have 7.45 with a line over it. Now that line is over both the 4 and the 5, so that means this is 7.454545 repeating forever. And if I hit SD again, it will expand it into that format. Now, don't pay attention to the fact that you've got 2 extra 5s here. Remember, the calculator is going to round at the end of its screen. So because the next digit is a 4 followed by a 5, that 5 makes this 4 round up to a 5. But if you wanted to write this in a different way, you could write it as 7.4545 7.45 ... All right, so you can use your calculator, your Casio here, to find this result, and then give your answer in each of the three formats. Let's take a look at the TI-30X2S next. Just trying to get everything visible without too much glare. There we go. Okay, so we're going to find 5.4 plus 3/8 on the TI-30X2S. So 5.4 plus, and to enter in 3/8, I'm going to do 3 ABC 8. Then I'll hit equals. And it gives me a decimal answer first, 5.775. Okay, now to convert between fraction and decimal, I see this FD hanging out here, so that's in between fraction and decimal format. So to access that, I'm going to press second PRB. So we'll press second PRB, and then we'll press equals. And it's now giving me a mixed number answer. So this calculator prefers mixed numbers over improper fractions. So its default is to, even if we're going from fraction to decimal or decimal to fraction, its preference is to just give you the mixed number instead of the improper fraction. I can tell that this is a mixed number because it's separating the whole number part with this U. So we have a 5 here for the whole number part. And then the fraction part is 31/40. Now to change this into fraction format, I notice above the ABC key, we've got this conversion between ABC and DC. Okay, so that's our conversion between mixed number and improper fraction. So I'm going to press second ABC, and then we'll press equals. And there we go. We have our improper fraction to 31/40. I apologize if you hear some noise in the background. Our cat has the zoomies at the moment and is very insistent on making noise. So let's go ahead and move on to this next one. So here they want us to convert 53/12 into a mixed number. So I'm going to start out by typing in the fraction, 53 ABC 12. Now, as I mentioned before, this calculator prefers mixed number to improper fraction format. So if I press equals, it's automatically going to turn it into a mixed number form. So we get 4 and 5/12. If I want to go back and forth between mixed number format and fraction format, I'm going to press second ABC. So that'll take me between the two formats if I need to convert between the two formats. So it'll go from one to the other. And lastly here we have 7 and 5/11. So let's go ahead and enter that into the calculator. So to enter in a mixed number on this calculator, I'm going to type the whole number, followed by ABC, then 5, followed by ABC, and then 11. So even though the calculator is using this little angle in between each of these numbers, when we use the ABC button in this way, the calculator knows that the 7 is the whole number part, and then the 5/11 is the fraction part. So I'm going to press equals just to make sure that that's entered into the calculator. And then let's press second PRB and see if that works for us. There you go, it did. So it's now converted it into the decimal, 7.45, and then it's got a bunch of 4 5s. So it's 45 repeating forever. Just a reminder, we've got this 5 at the end because our calculator is rounding. The next digit would have been a 4 followed by a 5. So that 5 would kick that 4 up to a 5 if we round. If I want to write this using the bar notation, I would do 7.45 and the line would go over both the 4 and the 5 since both of them are repeating. So if you have the TI-30 X2S and want some practice, you can go ahead and work through this Now You Try problem of finding 5.7 minus 16 over 99, and then give your answer in each of the 3 different formats. Now let's work through these problems using our 4th type of calculator for today, the TI-84 Plus. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit so that we can get the whole calculator on here. Okay, so here we go. You've got our TI-84 Plus, and we're just going to enter in this problem. So we have 5.4 plus, and then if you have the older version of this, you're going to enter in 3/8 as 3 divided by 8. So you can enter it in like that, and it will give you a decimal answer. If you have this newer version, then above the variable key, you have the fraction option. So I could also do 5.4 plus alpha variable key and type in my 3/8 in that way. And it'll still give me the decimal answer either way. So we get 5.775. Now, if I want to convert this into a fraction or mixed number format, I'm going to use my math key to help me out. So in the math key, if I want to go into fraction format, I'm going to choose option number 1, and then I'll press equals. And that gives me 231 over 40. And that option is going to work for both the newer models as well as the older models. Now, on the newer model, you also have the option to change it into a mixed number. So you can go to your math, and then we want to use the num for number menu instead of the math menu. So I'm going to go over to number, and we want to go basically all the way to the bottom. So the shortcut to get all the way bottom is to hit this up arrow, and it'll bring you right there. I'm going to scroll over or scroll up so that the A is highlighted, and this is going to convert between numerator, denominator, and mixed number format. So I'm going to press enter to select that, and then I'll press enter again, and that gives me 5 31/40. If you have an older model of this calculator, then you don't have that option. So we're basically going to be doing the by hand conversion. So let's say I was here at this stage and got my 231 over 40. If I don't have the option to go to mixed number, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 231 divided by 40, and that's going to give me the decimal format, and I'll pick up the whole number part. Then what I need to do is I need to do 231, so what that numerator was, minus 5 times that denominator of 40, and that will give me my numerator of 31, and I keep the denominator the same. An alternate hack to get the mixed number format, if you have 231 over 40, again, we've got our decimal format. Let's subtract off that whole number piece to get 0.775. So that was our whole number piece, the 5. And now I can use the math fraction option to turn that proper decimal, because it's 0 point, into a proper fraction, the 31 over 40. So if your calculator doesn't have the option to go between fraction and mixed number, those are 2 techniques that you can use to get the mixed number format. So let's go ahead and try part B, where we convert 53/12 into mixed number form. I'm going to work through the older model first, and then I'll work through the newer model. So if I were doing this on the older model, what I would do is I would type in 53 divided by 12, and press enter. And it gives me this decimal answer. I'm going to pick up the whole number part of the decimal, the number in the very front, the 4. And then on the calculator, I'm going to take that away so I can figure out what this decimal converts into. I'm going to go to Math, Frac, and then press enter, and it gives me 5/12. If I have a newer model that has that conversion between improper fraction and mixed number format built in, I'm going to go ahead and use alpha variable key to get the fraction set up. And we've got 53/12. And now I'm going to go to Math, choose the num option, press the up arrow to skip to the bottom, and continue to scroll till I get to the A. Then I'll press enter and enter again, and it gives me the 4 5/12. All right, for this last question, we want to convert 7 5/11 into decimal format. Again, if you have an older version of this calculator, it doesn't work well with mixed numbers. So I'm going to show you how you can do this first on that type of calculator. And then if you have the newer version, I'm going to show you how you can work through it. So on the older version, I'm going to remember that mixed numbers mean a whole number plus a fraction. So the whole number is 7 plus our fraction portion is 5/11. So I'm going to type in 5 divided by 11, and then I'll press enter. And it gives me this decimal format right away. So I have 7.454545 forever. Now just a note, it's going to give me an extra 5 at the end because the next digit is a 4 followed by a 5. So that 5 rounds the 4 up to a 5. So it's rounding this repeating decimal. We could also write this as 7.45 with a line over the 45 because both of those digits are repeating. Now, if I have the newer model, I can also enter in this mixed number format in using the mixed number feature of this calculator. So to do that, I'm going to press Math, and then I go over to num, and then I'm going to press up to get down here. And notice that option C gives us U and D. So U for the whole number, and then ND for the fraction part. So when I press enter, it now sets up boxes for me for a mixed number. So I'm going to type in 7 for the whole number, press over, type in 5 for the numerator, press down, and type in 11 for the denominator. When I hit enter, it's going to put it as an improper fraction since that's the form it prefers. Then I can go to Math and choose option 2 to go into decimal format. And then we can press enter and we get the same answer. We get 7.454545. Oh gosh, sorry about that. And we can rewrite that as 7.45 with a line over the 4 and the 5 because both of those digits repeat. All right, so if you have the TI-84 Plus, this also works for TI-83 Plus, you can go ahead and use your calculator to find this difference, and then give your answer in all 3 of the forms to practice those conversions. That's going to wrap up Chapter 6E for us. In the next video, we'll begin the last section of Chapter 6, where we mix operations on fractions. So looking forward to seeing you then. In the meantime, have an excellent day.